No, we've digressed a lot, and I'm saying the sentences, I'm hitting these buttons and unloading and opening up the game. Wait, what? Hi, everybody! I can't speak English today. It's hot. I'm melting. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Panthus has been lowered into a vat of molten metal, and he's currently giving a thumbs up.
I don't know if I would give the thumbs up or the middle finger. I'm actually not sure on that one.
Oh, you have two hands.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, the thumbs up with one, the middle finger with others. Like,
yeah, do both.
Good luck, people. But fuck you for letting me do this. Anyway, hi. We're playing D&D.
We are?
Probably? At least a little
Theoretically.
I thought we were talking about dinosaurs.
I mean,
You were talking about dinosaurs.
We were talking about a lot of weird stuff. We had our list, As with most beginning of the shows, sometimes we go off on a list of things to talk about. And we talk about them for a while. But now...
Not physically, I mean like a conversation topic.
We're talking about old TV shows that we're too young and cool to know about.
It was things. It was really TV shows that are like.
Well, you mentioned it because you saw something about it and thought of me.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned it really because we were talking about things that were not matching demographics. We're talking about demographics. That came to
a lot of old shitty TV shows.
Look, I've seen at least an episode of plenty of them. Some of them black and white TV shows that were on Nick at Night back in the day. I saw at least an episode of them.
I did actually see an episode of Dinosaurs once where the dad dies and goes to heaven.
That is... yeah, that sounds about right. That's you say that and I'm like, yeah, no, that sounds about right. That was the kind of thing that happened on that show.
Great.
There was a whole episode about pushing Grandma off a cliff.
There was.
Yeah, there was.
It was like the 4th episode. That they're like, we ritualistically push our old people off cliffs, and then they didn't for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't remember.
Because Fran, his wife, didn't want him to. And...
yeah, he really went. Anyway, hi. If you missed last time, they got down into this thing where there was this kind of thing called a furnace from Rath and stuff, and they activated it and got a mini version made out of a bird.
That's weird.
I'm not allowed to use it.
I'll be honest. I don't remember any of that because I was not conscious for half of that session.
I'm holding on to that furnace right now.
I put 12 cubic feet of molten flowstone in a box and then sent it to the ethereal plane.
That seems fine. Probably.
You can make your own very own mini Rath.
No, I'm just going to make a boat.
Like a model train set.
Except more oppressive.
Ooh, it's a model Rath set.
I said that, and all of a sudden I was like, except more oppressive. I'm like, are mini train folks people, kind of, weird sometimes? And I can see it impressive model train folks. But
those model train shit, that's impressive shit.
There's a whole song about a crazy model train person.
Huh.
It's called My Trains.
Huh.
And it's just about a model train guy who goes insane.
Huh. He could very well be oppressive then. But anyway, yeah. So, you can very easily use your newfound location to try to track an area out back into the swamps without having to go through quite the trek.
Swamps, huh?
Good. Because that was rough.
Yeah. There was a nice lava lake and a horrible garden that's gone. That was probably out of control to begin with, but is even more out of control. But that's just filled with everything eats everything else. It's just
probably still better than the alternative route.
Yeah.
I mean, the death pits are still, probably not a great place to visit.
Neither of those are my problem.
Yeah, same.
I mean, they're deep under Urborg, hidden somewhere, and it's someone else's problem for the future.
So, is it going to be a problem that we just turned on the furnace and then left it there?
Probably.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Did we
Hey.
turn it off before we leave?
No.
Up to
Yeah,
you.
turn the lights off. Turn the stove off before you leave, guys.
Eh.
I mean, we might not want to, if the evil guys are tracking us at all, we might not want them to follow us and just be able to.
Pretty sure they've already been here.
They've either already been here or have the ability to restart it, so I'm not worried.
Still, we should
Yeah.
probably turn it off because it's the polite thing to do.
If us assholes figured out how to turn it on, then they can definitely figure it out.
Hey, do we want somebody else randomly being able to use it?
What's the
I-
worst that can happen?
A lot
How-
of terrible
Buddy,
things.
how are they gonna get here? It was hard enough for us to get here, and we're level 11.
What's the level?
12?
It's a level
What level are we?
13.
13.
13.
You're actually higher than what you were saying. By a good
Yeah,
chunk.
man.
Still, I think it's better just to
I
deactivate
think
it.
we should be responsible and turn it off.
I agree.
Whee!
Alright. Yeah. We have 2, we should turn it off, and 2, ambivalent.
Kaz, do you even know how to turn it off?
Of course I know how to turn it off.
Prove
How do
it.
you turn it off?
I'm gonna go turn it off.
Okay. You will be able to turn it off.
Okay.
And then I turn it back on just to prove a point. No.
Alright, so having turned the furnace off, you will be able to effectively navigate the area out of here. Certainly, like, it's not necessarily an easy way out, but there will be another route that you can take. You will find that there is caverns above this location here, winding, twisted, wet caverns.
Ew.
Oh yeah, there's
moist.
swamp caves. So I mean, like, they're not going to be pleasant. It's swamp caves.
But do we find Swamp Thing?
No,
He's got too high of stealth previously.
yeah, he's busy fighting, like, I don't know, big evil magic things in the DC universe or something.
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Sure.
Solomon Grundy.
he's fighting
Actually,
Blackula.
Frankenstein's technically a hero in the DC universe.
Yes, that's true.
How about Solomon Grundy?
That's fine.
He was made in a swamp.
Yeah, I'm
He's
he can fight
actually
again.
he's actually being in the newest crossover, Swamp Thing versus Iron Dracula.
Oh. I'm on board with that.
That name is quite a name.
Iron Dracula is real, by the way.
I would not deny that would be a real thing, unfortunately.
Is that what happens when Iron Man gets turned into Dracula?
No,
I
that's
don't
an entirely
know the
different
story,
thing.
but I'm pretty sure this is a real thing now.
Why not call him Mechula? Like a mech Dracula?
Because just in case Marvel did have their version of Dracula and beat Iron Man and get an Iron Man suit for whatever reason, they didn't want to.
Well,
They wanted to
Dracula
steal that
is-
ahead of time.
Dracula is in the Marvel universe.
Yes,
Probably
he
the
is.
DC universe too, honestly, because
I mean,
he's
Blade
Dracula.
and Morbius are all in the
Yeah.
Marvel, so obviously Dracula's got to be there.
Yeah, well, Blade fights
But
Dracula. all the time.
Dracula fought Batman.
Yes.
Yeah, Dracula's in both.
Dracula's, yeah, he's public domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman became a vampire at one point.
Right now in the current run, Nightwing is a vampire.
Mm.
That's true.
I mean, wasn't
Yeah.
for X-Men? Wasn't Jubilee a vampire when she
I have
lost her
no idea.
powers?
I've never read X-Men.
Yeah. When they had that entire thing where a bunch of mutants lost their powers, she became a vampire or something.
Yeah, but now
Fair.
Krakoa is like a thing, so it doesn't matter anymore. It's all, you know.
Okay, anyway, you'll find your way out into the swamps, emerging in some dank, like, mucky hole in the middle of nowhere in Urborg. It's very innocuous, like, it's like a place that there's probably hundreds, if not thousands of these all, like, kind of like caves all over the place. So certainly, it's very obvious, like, why no one would have been able to find their way from that place.
Like dank swamps.
But it's swampy, and you're out.
Yay.
What's the
Now I
plan?
got swamp ass.
I think we just go back to the tower because that's our point of reference, right?
Yes.
And then from there, I find the boat.
All right. We can head back to the tower. The resistance has, of course, occupied the tower and are doing their best. They seem to have done a good job of cleaning out any remaining resistance from the Cabal, and are just now securing different areas and, taking stock of what's there. Of course, you'll be greeted back. Were you success? Like, there's this just random younger kid who's part of resistance. Were you successful in your mission?
Sure.
Excellent. I'm sure I can find you some rooms to stay in if you need a place to rest in. After what you've accomplished, great heroes of the resistance.
That doesn't sound right. Are we heroes?
Yeah, I mean, yes,
No.
more or less. In this specific instance.
Morally, no.
Well, we defeated the Cabal.
Yeah, no, we
That's
did.
a good thing.
Morally,
Lost
sure.
a whole lot.
Drove those demon-worshipping bastards from our land. No offense, ma'am.
Okay, you didn't actually have to say that. Yeah.
I do like to be worshipped. Just not in that way.
That's why I said no offense, ma'am.
I still take some offense.
Oh, okay. Well,
I take half the offense.
are you part demon too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, not right now.
I do though.
No. It's a fiend inside me.
Leave the kid alone.
You know, it's close enough.
I
You
need
tell
to
it
sleep.
that.
I need to sleep and cool down a whole thing. I need to do a whole thing.
I can rest.
Where's the least flammable area?
Oh,
The swamp.
No,
Probably-
swamp gas.
The swamp.
I mean, I think everything's technically flammable if you try hard enough.
I love your attitude. Least likely to just spontaneously combust.
That ruined pile of stone over there?
Cool. I'm gonna get the... No, I should do this in private. I shouldn't just show a giant box full of flowstone to a bunch of randos. How
Yeah.
long can I keep that box in the ethereal plane?
Is it like a month or something like that?
I think so.
It was
So,
quite
like-
some time.
60 days!
So 2 months, with your spell. 2 months.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just need to get it cooled down as soon as I can. Because it's molten.
It is freshly minted. And
I mean, you
very
could drag
hot.
it behind the ship at the water.
That doesn't translate into the ethereal plane. I'm gonna tell you that. That doesn't work.
That feels wrong.
It would just be silly.
Feels disrespectful to the ocean as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we can get a nap in.
A merfolk
and then-
might pop out of the water, throwing it up on deck, and go, "Not in my ocean."
Well, it would burn itself by trying to touch it.
It's in a
Oh, the
box. The chest
box
is not on
is cold.
fire. The chest goes to another plane. The box is cool. You have to cool it while it's in the box in another plane. That's it. That's the challenge.
I'm just
Pour
gonna wait
water
to take
into
it
the
out.
box.
No, because then it hardens.
Ugh.
Don't you
Well-
know how blacksmithing works?
Flowstone doesn't necessarily. It can harden, but it usually requires something
It's
to harden.
different.
It's weird.
Let's...
Am I hardened?
Sometimes.
Hey man, that's between you and
I don't wanna-
your lovers, man.
I
I
don't
don't need to
hear
know
about
those
that.
details.
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, man. Don't ask me. I don't want to know.
I'm not always male either.
So? That doesn't mean as much as you think it does.
Anyway, once we get back to the ship, are we heading back to my cousin's?
What do you mean?
Oh, they want to go
Drop
find
off
an
the
airship or
furnace?
something.
I have to go find the fucking predator.
I gotta find the ship.
Yeah. That was one of the main reasons we came to Urborg.
Yeah, let's just leave.
We gotta do shit.
We have to go find ship.
Yeah, we're not done. We gotta take a nap first, obviously, because we've been awake for a while.
I'm horribly mutilated and, stuff like that, and a lot of things have happened, and,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
gonna click this long rest
horribly
button.
mutilated.
There's a thread of 18 D10 lava damage around every corner.
I wasn't horribly mutilated.
Yet.
Well, that's nice. I was missing a 5th level spell slot, so I wanted that back. You don't have to sleep if you don't want to.
I just need to take a short rest anyway.
We're not
Or
Overlux.
I'll probably just explore the tower for a bit. I'm fine.
Yeah. Certainly there's, a lot to clean up in the tower. The Cabal, there's probably various stores of materials that they were using for less than reputable reasons and things like that. Probably, honestly, stuff that the Lich wasn't the only person they had experimenting on stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
So there was
yeah.
There was plenty of issues going around that made it very. It's harder than you think to clean up everything, unfortunately. But they're doing a good job of clearing out as much as possible and cataloging a lot of what's going on. So you can kind of see what's going on. They have access to. It seems like a number of stores of treasure. So it's just a matter of taking stock of everything. Is there anything particularly you want to do other than just kind of explore?
Not that I can really think of, because I don't want to take anything of value, because they'll need it, and also they do owe me money. I did fund it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably just look around, poke around at things,
Yeah. You can kind of take stock of what's up. Get an idea.
If there's any important documents that were left lying around,
No. In fact, it looks as though a large majority of what could be called the documents that were around have been, in fact, cleared out.
Makes sense.
And it goes along with, it seems that the good father, as you had met him, seems to have cleared out a large portion of things. There did seem to be a contingent of Cabal that were thought to be around but didn't show up. Now, they could still be a threat, but not in the same way as they were. On their own, it was like an elite group of warriors. If you ask for a report, they're guessing that probably they worked directly for the father, and when he decided that it was time to abandon ship, he took them with them. There's evidence of him of a teleportation circle being used to evacuate a bunch of materials and people. Granted, it's sort of like, less than 10% of the forces that was here to begin with, so it's certainly not a sizable force, but it is a dangerous force. And they certainly seem to have abandoned the seat of power here. So it's not like the Cabal is completely gone, it's just that, the most dangerous faction has been basically nullified.
Yeah, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna go somewhere where no one's gonna bother me. I'm gonna go give Nim a big old report on what happened with the orb.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like he might want to know.
Keep taping my fucking orb.
Has Carrie had any unusual side effects from her merger?
Well, not that I can tell. Aside from making better decisions.
Well, that seems to have happened when she decided to basically embrace the natural world. As a studier of the druidic arts and the shamanic arts, I can respect that, but also I find it, the path she took is a very unusual one, it seems like.
It was unexpected, but helpful in the end.
As you can suspect, there might be after effects, mentally or physically for her, for having been merged with an elemental. Their bodies are not like our own. They're usually comprised of natural material in the area, but they aren't a singular body. They convert said material as needed to effectively prep themselves for being physically there. They're more spiritual in nature than anything. So, I worry that there might be something kind of an additional physical or spiritual effect on her body by having merged with the creature.
I'll keep an eye out.
Alright, then. Please do. Carrie's making good progress. I wouldn't want to be necessarily ruined by, Muldrotha is not known as the most friendly elemental. Though she does seem to have taken a shine to Carrie. There's probably more to this than we know, but at least it seems like the mission to defeat the Cabal was successful. Yes?
Seemingly, a few escaped, but nothing too major. I don't think they have enough forces to conduct any operations anymore.
The Cabal is a group that is wily. They've existed for hundreds of years now. I expect that it'll be difficult to eliminate them completely, and they might even alter their form once again, like they did in the past.
Quite possibly. No.
Now what of Claud in these shadows?
I'm not sure what's going on with Claud in the shadows. It disturbs me, and I think it was a terrible idea to contact that. But he's done it, and it's at least proven useful on one occasion, though they do not seem to care what his friend is doing.
That can be a little disconcerting. Honestly, Claude tends to be the greatest wild card of the bunch of them. He maintains his self well, but I do worry that too many cooks in the cookhouse at times.
Every day I spend with Claude, he gets weirder and weirder.
He at least has the right heart.
That I'll agree on.
Well, what's your plan now?
I believe Kazzrann wants to look for the Predator. I'm not much help in that, I don't.
I recall that was his original plan. Keep an eye out. The Predator was granted, it wasn't as powerful as your average Phyrexian warship. but it was the flagship of the power on Rath. They just didn't have the facilities to build full-scale Phyrexian warships on the Demi-plane. Not as controlled as something, let's say, like Phyrexia.
I'll be sure to try to stop anything too bad from happening. However, Kazzrann is hard to convince otherwise.
From what I looked into, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. The Predator theoretically used a modified engine from the original Phyrexian design, so it should be less dangerous.
Well, as long as it doesn't rip a hole in space and time and summon and create some kind of horrible undead dragon, I'm sure it'll be okay.
One time.
One time is enough, I guess.
One time.
Rumor has it the Phyrexian engines, they had a unique signature to them. The material that they would effectively... Their exhaust was highly toxic to people of our plane. It seems as though because the Phyrexians were immune to whatever that material was, they didn't necessarily care that their ships bellowed it out. A toxic material from their engines.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying I worry that the Predator theoretically didn't bellow out any smoke. But it still could be unleashing toxic emissions of some kind.
Yes, it could. I'll keep an eye out and
At least
inform.
maybe if Kaz does try to repair it, have him look into that.
Yeah, I'll make sure Kazzrann looks into the safety of this equipment before he starts it.
Good. I don't know if he was necessarily considering it. It's hard to tell what he considers priorities sometimes.
There are many things I would like to say, but I do not know when any of these people will walk up the staircase and try to talk. But I will try to make sure Kazzrann at least inspects the safety of it. I don't believe he would do anything to put himself at harm, like death, but you know, he's got metal lungs, I don't think he breathes.
Then inform him the toxic emissions were not necessarily breathed in. Exposure to the skin was enough from Phyrexian ships. I don't know if the Predator would be similar or if it would just be emissions that would need to be breathed in. But at least it would give him an idea that he could still possibly be affected. Better safe than sorry?
Yeah. Don't want any more of the plane wanting to kill him.
Be careful. There are a number of individuals that have already, are not looking favorably upon the group you're with.
I can see why in many cases, but I will be careful.
Currently, their allies in Talaria and Benalia are at least keeping them safe for now. And I've put in a good word, along with Joyra.
It took me a lot of work to keep Shivan dragons from killing them on the spot, I think.
The fact that they were able to at least, that you were able at least to keep the Shivan dragons back is pretty miraculous in this case. They are not known for their necessarily good attitudes.
It's a lot different than the old days where I would just go kill a magical beast every now and then or stop a civil war.
Things are changing quickly. We have to be ready for whatever happens.
Agreed. Alright, I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Same for you. Good luck.
You too.
Oh, one final thing. Something strange is going on. A friend of mine contacted me, one that has a much deeper read on the energies of the plane, and said something is beginning to disrupt the energies. Not on a large scale that would be dangerous, but enough to be noticeable.
That's not good.
No. It could be that something similar to the dragon they created, perhaps is absorbing energy, rebuilding its own power supply. It could be something else similar, that either because of this creation or because of some other reason that might not even be related to them, something else is waking up and needs the energy.
I'll keep my ear to the ground. If I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Could be a strange artifact. There's unfortunately dozens of things that could cause this, and since it isn't dangerous enough to really be concerned yet, but it's enough to, yes, keep your eye.
Something to consider and keep in the back of the mind.
Exactly. We should be finishing up here soon. I don't think I can maintain a perfect peace with the Keltons, but it seems as though we've managed to convince the more dangerous faction to at least put themselves in a sort of self-chosen exile.
Well, it's something at least.
Preyed on their religious beliefs. And, they're making plans to confer with the ancestor spirits. Unfortunately, most of them were desecrated during the Phyrexian War. So, what they get is, well, unknown. But this might be at least a path for a little bit of peace.
Something good for once.
I agree. The days continue to be dark, my friend.
Well, maybe when we have the time, we can meet up in person and discuss things over tea, like we used to, you know? A nice little break from all of this.
It would be indeed. Alright. Everybody will eventually wake up.
Ooh.
What is your plan for today, then? You have to figure out where a ship went down.
Yeah, I gotta find that boat.
It's somewhere in the area. That's all you know.
We have a great vantage point here.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a dragon supposed to stop by?
At some point, you don't know when.
Eventually.
Great.
It's just gonna show up one day.
It is its own time frame, which you don't know about.
Yeah. Wizard never is late. It just shows up when he...
Especially a wizard that used to be a dragon.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, whatever. I'm not gonna bother with the dragon schedule. I'm gonna go to the top of the tower. I'm gonna find that goddamn boat, and I'm gonna go create an airship.
All right, you're at the top of the tower. It is swampland. Now, there is something quite noticeable about this entire swath of swampland, and especially from the top of the tower, since even in its broken manners, it's still over 100 feet tall. You certainly span over the swampland. You can tell there is a massive swath of area that seems to follow down from the local volcano a number of miles away, down to the tower area and beyond.
Like an impact path?
Make a history check.
history check.
Yes.
Okay.
This is one you certainly might know about.
24.
24 is well enough to know. So, the Predator did impact into the tower, causing the collapse of the top of the tower. But that's not what stopped the Evankar Tower and the Phyrexians there. That was merely the tower's destruction and as it is now. What really destroyed it was dwarven magic. A number of elite dwarfs erupted the local volcano and covered this entire area in a massive swath of lava.
Cool.
The amount of damage tells you that you don't even have to roll. I'm going to say, like, you can realize that probably Belsenlock hasn't been here that long. He organized the Cabal and took over this place and obviously cleared out... He must have cleared out the lava. It must have still been here. The tower probably was encased in it. But if there was any wreckage of the Predator nearby, it may have also been affected during the eruption. And the fact is, he might not have cleared out everything. He basically unencased the tower and the surrounding areas in order to create his kind of throne. The base of the tower. But that probably had an effect. Like, the top of the tower is gone. It's something that you, like, you probably actually, like, you just think about it yourself, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. I hadn't even thought about that. The top of the tower is missing. What happened to it?
A ship hit it.
A ship hit it. Not a very big ship. Not one that's enough to cause the entire top of the tower, the entire top half of the tower, to explode. It fell down. And it's gone.
I'm gonna effectively draw, like, a line from the caldera of the volcano through the tower and try to use that to, like, triangulate where the ship might have gone.
You have an idea about where at least a portion of the ship and perhaps portions of the ruined tower went. Honestly, you're very scientific. You're guessing that most likely the tower was in pretty bad shape, having fallen down, and a well of lava ramming into the fallen part of the tower probably tore what's left of it apart. The main bit of the tower, which was still relatively intact, and of course it's the base, so it was the strongest and thickest areas, survived and was just encased until Belzenlock freed it.
Right.
There could be things intact out there, though. Because, again, there's probably remains of some of the lava and stuff in this area still. The giant lava flow. But that means that what you're looking for could be buried. You've got an idea of where it could have gone, the kind of area it might have ended up, depending on... There's a lot of factors, so your math isn't going to be perfect right now. Because you don't know exactly where at least the half of the Predator that was said to have remained with the tower ended up. Like, right now you're on the trail of the front half. But finding the front half might make it easier to find the back half.
So what you're telling me is I have to use my archaeology degree.
You have to use your archaeology degree.
Finally, my college education comes in handy.
It comes in great use.
Oh, phenomenal. Oh, I'm gonna get so many tiny brushes. Oh god, okay, yeah. We're gonna do this.
Okay.
I have a rough idea, you said?
You have a rough idea. But the thing is, it's sort of like You've narrowed it down from like a couple hundred square miles to maybe like a couple square miles kind of thing. It's still a pretty big area. So you're going to have to figure out now a way to locate it within there. It's like, I'm in the right area, now what?
Is the monocle able to help at all?
It probably won't in this case, because the Predator is going to be deactivated. And the thing is, right now, you're probably going to find the front half, you think. But there are magics that if you have part of the object, you might be able to find the other part of it, you know? That kind of thing. So it's sort of like, yeah, it's probably good to find at least part of it, and this is where it is. It's probably deactivated and probably has no power whatsoever. So that's going to be something. Monocle's probably not going to help on that end.
Okay. Let's see.
Unless you figured out a way to remotely empower it. Which I'm not saying there couldn't be a way, but you don't know one off the top of your head.
If only my fucking, like, the crystal ball of mapping still worked. I'd be able to get a good idea of, like, the lay of the land. But it broke. Everything broke.
It still does things.
My exact note is doesn't work, question mark.
Yeah, it still seems to be magical. It just doesn't seem to do anything you know what it does.
Great. I have a
and like
sense
even
in analyze.
even in analyzing it, it's like it just you don't pick up anything from it, which is weird.
I can see it's magical.
Yeah, you're just like, it's magical. I don't know what it does. It's like, does it know what it does? I guess that's the question.
Here's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ability called Sense and Analyze Artifice.
Yeah.
It's like Detect Magic, but for Artifice.
Yeah.
I also have a Break the Limit ability.
Mm-hmm.
Can I put these two together? To be able to scan for Artifice over a wide area. Because it's the front half of the ship, but there's still likely some Artifice in there.
You might be able to, but you think it would be highly detrimental to your own body.
Damn it, I already did a whole body sacrifice thing this time.
Yeah.
Can't do it
because you're sort of breaking yourself.
Yeah, I am. Ugh. I have friends. I'm going to get other people's opinions on how to possibly find this. I'm also going to be taking notes on the landscape so I can help try it, so I know, like, the rough idea, narrowed down a few square miles.
You know that in this area, the lava flow would have been particularly thin, because you're quite far from the volcano.
Do I know where, like, when you excavate something, you gotta put what you excavate somewhere. Do I know where the Cabal would have put all the refuse from the excavation?
No. You don't know how they got through it. You only suspect they got through it. It's logical that they would have because, again, the growth pattern in a lot of this area, it looks new. And you can see the swath of new. And I don't mean like a couple hundred years new. I mean like probably like within a decade new.
Right.
But it's a horrible swamp area. It regrows pretty quickly, honestly. So, like, you cleared an area, it grew back there and got all swampy and horrid pretty quickly.
We don't have a time limit.
You particularly do not.
So, I'm just gonna gather some folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna start searching.
Okay.
It can't be buried too deep. It hasn't been a long time.
Thought.
Answer.
If there was something under the lava, would it not be hollow in that area then?
A good thought. Very good thought. We can start searching for hollow areas beneath the lava flow. That would definitely make things easier.
I mean, I could go into one of my larger forms and pound in the areas.
I don't want you to break things.
Well, I meant like hard enough to just try to, maybe someone could listen to see if there seems to be a hollow spot.
Mm-hmm.
Even in this area, I'm going to say, like, after 300 years, the lava flow has been consumed by the swamp, especially because it was thin enough, you know. This is an area where probably, like, again, growth back, but probably much, much older growth back than the tower area, which, you know, needed to be dug out a little bit more. This area probably wasn't dug out at all. The lava just, as most of the time, kind of sinks back into the swamp eventually. It's a volcanic swamp. It's just kind of awful. That's
Probably
Urborg
very,
for you.
very fertile land, though.
Oh yeah, no. Like if you can actually find some nice dry land here, Urborg's really great for farming.
Yeah.
It's pretty fertile. That's why people do actually live here. It's a horrible death swamp, but the land is really profitable. You know.
Yeah.
If you can survive the flora and fauna.
Yeah, if you can survive the flora and the fauna and the undead, then you got a really good farm.
If it would have sunk, most likely, if the if the area was hollowed, it would have cracked. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, if the area that we need to search is waterlogged, I could go into my merform.
Well, I can breathe underwater too.
Right. I'm just saying we could try
Yeah,
to
we
see
can
if there's
pull
any areas that have lava rock on the bottom and broke open. Those
Yeah.
would be probably our best bets then.
Okay.
There are natural features that would have formed due to physical obstructions within the lava flow, geographical disturbances that we will pay attention for in searching these square miles.
First thing that stands out, raised land. That's
Raised
probably...
land.
The thing is, there's plenty of raised land around. It happens in Urborg naturally, too, anyway. A lot of times, sometimes trees do. So it's going to be hard to tell the difference between raised land that's just naturally formed and there's obstruction in it. You might be able to tell the difference, but it would probably be very hard.
It still would cut down on the areas we're looking at.
We need... Oh shit, we need a druid. Good thing we have a druid now.
Neat.
Someone who would understand the patterns of the natural world to differentiate what is natural and what's unnatural.
I don't know if understand is the correct word.
You're smart.
You're just not... Well, now you're wiser, too, but...
I am, in fact, wiser now.
'Cause I was going to make the joke that you're just not wise and saying, well, no, now you are.
Yeah, I'm the low wisdom one over here. 11.
Well, I'm a 12.
All right.
I mean, yeah. This is a plan.
All right. They're asking for your assistance. Carrie, what are you going to do?
Fuck if I know. What
Alright.
everything else to do.
Oh, this is a team effort. We're all working together as a team.
Well,
Yeah.
they're like, do some druidy stuff and see what you can find out.
Do druid shit.
No. I'm asking to help, like, identify the natural, like, to help to differentiate between natural land formations and obstructions. It's just pattern recognition.
Can I just roll a nature check?
Sure.
It requires me to get up. Ugh.
I know, it's so difficult.
Ugh, gross.
I'll give a +5 to that.
You take a look around and you're just like, sorry.
Take a look around like, I got nothing.
It pretty much is like that. You think about it for a while and you're like, it's been around 300 years. If there are obstructions, these signs are probably pretty well hidden. Not that they couldn't be found, but as you're looking around, you're like, even with your newfound expertise at nature and stuff like that, and ability to kind of look around, you're like, yeah, these are really subtle. 300 years is too long for, like, it to be very easy to find. It would require probably weeks of meticulous searching to compare enough raised terrain to find a pattern. Because, from what you can tell, if there is something different between them, it's really subtle. So it is, if you want to spend the time, this is a route.
Okay.
But it
I
would
mean,
take-
another route is literally just document by hand, which will also take several weeks.
Yes.
I mean, anything that looks like it could be promising, I could try to goo around in.
The thing is, you have to think about it this way. Anything you're looking for was pushed along by lava. And honestly, anything that wasn't broken apart would have been then probably partially buried in that lava, if not buried, pushed along to this area. Whatever was left over that wasn't damaged would have then been eventually consumed by the swamp and sunk down. So it might not even be necessarily in lava. It would be in an area where there was lava, but not be in that lava.
Would talking to plants help?
Maybe.
Depends on the plant, I
I
guess.
can't say no.
I mean, I don't think I have anything that can help. I'll be real honest.
I could talk to plants or I could talk to animals. That's about all I got,
I think the
guys.
plants might be more helpful.
There could probably be
They-
some trees that are a few hundred years old.
The plants have been here longer.
They might know something. The old trees.
Old tree and talk to it.
All right, you find probably one of the oldest trees in the area, and you speak with it. Who are you? What do you want?
Oh, could I speak?
My lord.
Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm a druid. Hey,
I'm a tree.
I am well aware of that. I'm speaking to you through magic, so I do know you're a tree.
Wait, I can speak?
Well, you can speak to me,
Who are you?
Carrie.
Okay.
Hey, do you happen to know of any wreckage around here of like a big ship?
Wreckage of a big ship? What's a ship?
It's big. It's made of metal, right?
Yes.
It's a big metal basin thing.
Smooth
I don't know how
rock?
to ship.
You mean like smooth rock? Weird smooth rock?
Yes, like weird smooth rock.
I know about weird smooth rock. That showed up occasionally.
If this tree doesn't give us answers, I'm burning it down.
Look,
No,
let me
I win.
look. This was like 30 years ago during one of my early spawnings, back when the youngins. Don't talk to them kids nearby me. They complain about old Grampy all the time, you know. Like a tree nearby is like, come on, Dad, it's all right.
Here in the distance. Okay, boomer.
Anyway, so I remember when I was merely a sapling. It was a different kind of area. There was I was a fresh youngin' sprouting up after a big old eruption when all the fires came through. I was a strong one. I had been around even during those early days of the fire. Burned a little bit, but didn't quite set fire enough to kill me. Anyway, there were all kinds of weird things around. Me and the other trees, we talked about it. There was all kinds of things, like smooth stone things that were all over the place. It wasn't lava. Lava dries smooth. It was something strange. It was all like shiny or something. There was a lot of it. There was some stone too. Don't get me wrong. Plenty of stone also. Can't get away from the stone. There's stone all over the place. There's like a stone over there now. I got one embedded in my left root. Fourth left from where you're staring, honey. Actually, could you get that one out? It's been embedded in me for quite a while. You know, after 100 years of having a rock embedded in you, it does not feel quite well. I think I might have grown around it a little bit. Just dig it out and I'll be fine.
Something less useful, more flammable.
You don't hear this.
Hear this.
I don't, but I sense it.
I do start helping dig the rock out of his roots.
So you said you were looking for some shiny, smooth stone, yeah?
A lot of shiny, smooth stone. Probably around the same time you spawned and the lava was moving. Do you know vaguely where it might be?
I think there was a couple of things nearby to me. Let's see here. There was a big old thing that would kind of almost seem to float along over yonder. Turn your looking device to the side there for a little bit.
This way?
Yeah, that way.
Okay.
Keep turning. Okay.
Turning.
How can I tell you're turning? Wait a second.
Magic. Just it's magic.
Have a crisis.
Okay. But anyway, about that way over yonder's, I couldn't see it. But an old tree in the area that's long since passed away, been consumed by the swamps, which I probably will have one day, my kids want me to go away already, empty up some new space for some new kids, fresh trees. But, I'm still spry. I'm only a few hundred years old. I got another few hundred left in me. I can live to be a Methuselah. Anyway, over in that area yonder was the really big thing. It was shiny, smooth rock and some actual rock all mixed together. Seemed to be over in that area. There was another one too, as I recall. Okay, keep turning, but turn the other way.
Okay, turning the other way.
Okay, go. Nope, a little farther back.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I do recall seeing something strange over that way. It was a big old metal piece sitting in the lava house was cooling. Big old smooth stone piece. Now, I don't know, I was a tiny sapling at the time, so I don't know how big you're looking for, but there was something there over that way. I could see that one. Those are the two things I remember.
That's actually quite a lot of information. Do you know of any other trees that might know about different ones?
There's old Dark Birch. He might know something. If you see him, tell him he's a bastard. And he owes me He owes me.
Nuts.
Acorns.
He owes me a stone.
Owes you a stone. Okay, I will let him know.
I
Yeah.
wonder what's embedded in his root.
He stole my other stone.
Was it a pretty stone?
I don't know. He decided to take it when some magic person like you decided to make him all move around for a while. So he was like, "Oh, hi, I can move and you can't. Blah, blah, blah. I have abilities to walk around. I'm going to take your stone." I called him a
my
bitch. Still took my stone.
I think he's stoned.
And that's why we never did ever get together after that and again. Oh,
I could make in this tree if I had the spell.
we had a lot of saplings, him and I.
Wait, I'm not taking a tree on the ship.
That, I like this tree.
You've,
Pretty cool.
you've already taken a tree on the ship.
Pretty cool
Nay.
tree.
I'm not taking another tree on the ship.
It's a good tree.
He'll die.
I do relate this to everyone, by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Not the whole thing, but just like the important bits.
Not the stone.
God.
No, listen, I will tell that fucking Dark Birch that he is a bastard and that he owes this nice tree a stone. But that's my personal vendetta.
Please noting
Do
that
we have-
this is also some form of birch tree. They're both birch trees.
But that one's a dark birch.
Yeah.
And a dick, apparently.
Yeah. A rat bastard of a tree.
We have 2 possible locations and another tree I can talk to.
Okay.
Good start.
Productive. You can ask this other tree just to confirm locations. Otherwise, I think we're ready to get moving.
Okay.
Up to you, Carrie, if you want to talk to the other tree or not.
You know, I can have like a small little brief conversation with him.
Sure. Who are you? What do you want? Wait,
Well,
I can talk again? Holy crap!
Yes.
Can you make me move? I must
No,
kill the animals! Get revenge!
No, I'm not awakening you.
Damn it!
However,
But
I do have
revenge!
a-
The squirrels are in my top again!
Are they driving him nuts?
Am I allowed to burn this one?
No. Hey, Manuel, wait, did we bring Manuel?
No, we left him on the boat.
Damn it.
Yeah, why would
Urborg would have eaten Manuel alive.
Listen, I like having my squirrel companion.
I know.
Okay, squirrels aside, you happen to know of any big pieces of shiny metal, that floated around the time of, like, the lava flow?
What you say? Shiny? Oh, the metal stuff. Yeah, I know about metal stuff.
Yeah, like a big metal...
The nice magic lady that made me move around for a while was, cleaning up a bunch of metal stuff. Apparently it was all toxicking up the, area or something like that.
Do you know where it went?
Well, I was smashing up all these metal men.
Congratulations.
Yeah! Gotta get rid of them. Clean them up.
That's not answering my question. Do you happen to know where they were?
Kinda everywhere. They was all over the place. We were wandering around for a while. Then I got put back here.
I mean specifically like a big, like, a lot of metal.
Huh.
Like, basically a flying thing that was made of metal that
Don't know if
probably
it was
cracked.
flying, but I do know there was a couple of big things that we ran into. Didn't really have the ability to clean up those. One was already sinking into the swamp. The other one got sunk into the swamp. magic lady didn't want it around. After cleaning up the bad metal creatures in there, sunk the rest of it.
Do you know where those were?
Sure. It'll give you actually reasonable directions to that. And the other one is like, the other one that was just sinking on its own. Didn't seem to have any metal things in it. Didn't seem important. It'll describe a direction that could be the second one the other tree pointed out.
Alright. You mentioned a problem with squirrels. You're still dealing with the squirrels?
They're just like burrowing into my upper branches. They're a little annoying more than anything.
You dealing with them right now?
They're always there. I had my way, I crushed little furry bastards.
Well, before I switch to this other spell, thank you. Also, that tree over there says you're a bastard and you owe him a stone.
Which tree?
I'm gonna cut the spell off. I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try.
Wait.
Because I want to switch to speak with animals.
Oh, okay. Do you mean light birch?
Probably. He called you Dark Birch. He said you're a bastard and you owe him a stone.
What? He gave me that stone.
God.
To commemorate our love.
Listen, I'm just the messenger. I'm gonna try and get those squirrels out of your branches now.
But it'll cut off there.
We're not getting involved in a tree soap opera. We have engineering to do.
Opera?
No.
This seems like an interesting subplot.
Hey, squirrels, get the fuck out of his branches before I just burn you out.
Who dares speak to the great squirrel overlord? Nibbles the destroyer!
Me, bitch.
Oh.
Get the fuck down here and fight me.
You would not fight me. You would fight the Horde!
Alright, then have your horde fight me.
As you wish, strange annoying creature that speaks to us. You have learned the squirrel language. We give you respect for that. But if you wish for a fight, we shall bring it down upon you.
They're nuts.
You already made a nuts joke.
There's surprisingly a lot of... And for the rest of you, all of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, as, like, Carrie's just, like, making chittering noises at the tree, you'll notice that, like, there's a lot of squirrels around. Like...
A lot of squirrels.
A lot of squirrels, all staring at you.
Carrion?
Hey, I'm gonna... how many of them are in a 10-foot radius sphere?
I would also like to know that.
I'm
need
curious
help.
about the sphere radius of these squirrels.
I'm just
Probably
gonna start
a
walking in
percentage
the
of them.
direction.
A percentage of them.
If these squirrels attack,
I'm gonna cast Wither and Bloom at them. Each squirrel in a 10-foot radius sphere has to make a DC 17 con saving throw or take 15 necrotic damage.
Mhm.
I don't think squirrels have that much HP.
Most do not.
I'm
Some
just walking
might live.
away.
what the hell is that?
Alright, okay. you cast your spell out to a group of squirrels, and you'll see, like, the squirrels seem to continue forward as they leap down upon you. Honestly, look, you will win the battle against the squirrels. It will turn out to be more epic than you thought. Turns out Nibbles the Destroyer actually was a very powerful squirrel.
Give me a good fight. No, I'm not mad at it.
It's a squirrel of legend. So,
Fair.
like, you know, it'll, like, at some point, you know, like, you know, it'll, look weird, like, you know, it'll, like, use some kind of strange, swamp magic and, like, be encompassed in, like, you know, an armor of thorns and mud, as it will battle with you. And it will belch, like, acid and poison.
Well,
Which
this
don't really
is
do a
going
lot.
on. I'll inform Kaz and Claude about the horrible toxic shit that the airship produces.
I'm already walking away into the general direction of where that first tree was pointing out 2 directions that Carrie told us about.
Yeah, Carrion.
I'm not.
Seems like Carrion has this.
Can you guys go on? You can inform them. I'm gonna fight a bunch of fucking squirrels.
Okay.
That's fair.
I mean,
Says
the
the
majority of squirrels will be just squirrels. But there will
Says the druid
I
who's
mean-
now killing nature.
Look,
Bring them back.
side with
Listen,
the trees.
the squirrels
Side.
wanted to fight me so they could fight me. Nature versus nurture, bitch.
Bring a few of them back to fight their brethren.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, you're a spores druid. You can just do
I am a
that.
force druid. Can I bring back some of the squirrels to fight their brethren? What happened?
Probably. It's like, they're zombie squirrels then, you know? They're spore zombies. You can create some, yeah.
I think technically, like, rules as written, probably not.
Mm.
But I love this.
Yeah, fuck it, right? It's cool.
Anyway,
This is insane.
Yeah,
I think you should
I'll
be allowed an army of squirrel zombies.
yeah, I'll inform people about the horrible toxic shit Nim said.
Not surprising. Look,
Okay.
you know who created.
But just be a little careful with it, I guess. You know, because it might melt your skin off or something.
Okay, well, I'm planning on using a different fuel source, most likely, than what they did, so the exhaust should be different.
I'll just double check.
Alright. More things to consider in the plans.
you have fought well, human. My forces are devastated. My power is countered at every turn.
The hell is Carrion?
Why is
Join me.
Carrie fighting squirrels?
Join me,
I
and
don't
we
know,
can
I'm
rule
letting
this
Carrion
swamp.
do Carrion things, so I'm gonna go find the ship.
Girl, I don't know if you know this, but I already kind of do. So, can you just stop messing with this specific tree and also that light birch over there?
So, you're saying that you will spare me if I give you a life of servitude. Fine. Nibbles the Ravager knows when he is beat. His name keeps changing.
But yeah, he's a squirrel. He doesn't know his own name.
I will
Good,
take my forces. We will be ready for the Great War when you call upon us. The humans will not stand a chance. Nature will rise up against them.
If that squirrel comes onto the ship, I'm eating it.
I'm going to absorb its soul.
As long as nobody hurts Manuel, I don't care.
Manuels can do whatever.
I'm gonna tell you, the squirrel's like a CR-12. I made him a creature of legend.
That's fine.
I'm
Does he
still
go
going to
good with
absorb
barbecue
its
sauce?
soul.
I will eat him. I will pair him with a white wine.
You can have. Well, no, because I'm going to absorb it.
No, I get to eat him.
I really just don't like the squirrel. You make all the nice friends, Carrie, and you know, they're so mean to your friends.
Carrion's gonna become another squirrel druid.
Acceptable.
I'm actually very much like the squirrels as a snack.
You're not allowed to eat my squirrel friends.
Not Manuel, of course. However, Nibbles, fuck him.
No, thank you.
Anyway, you're heading for the first location the tree pointed out?
Yeah.
Probably.
You can find your way there using the directions that Carrie gave you, that a tree gave Carrie. This is a tract of land. It is technically a little raised, so it could be something that like is affected by something buried here, certainly.
Does there seem to be any fissures?
No, it's a swamp. It's just mud. Swamp does a good job of hiding things like, you know, rock formations and stuff under mud and dirt.
Cool. Well. Here's what we gotta
can
do.
you do anything to get rid of the mud?
Oh,
The
first we have
mud?
to stake out the area.
I can make the mud into to dry dirt.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
the raised land is probably, in quotations, drier. It's just kind of a little mucky in places, but there is like certainly enough dryness to it. It's just like very wet, and you probably would have to worry about, anything you start digging, you would have to worry about flooding. It is dirt. It will seep through if you're not careful.
Oh no, I have a degree in archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can deal with any flooding.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have not mastered earth yet. I only have mastery over water and air.
Mm-hmm. Only 2 more elements, and then you can be the archetype.
I'm still on book 1. I'm sorry.
Damn it! You beat me to the Avatar joke.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I'm gonna start excavating.
Okay.
What can I do to help?
Grab a shovel.
Yeah, grab a fucking shovel, man. Grab a goddamn shovel.
Alright.
Cole, despite no longer being old, will use the excuse that he's too old to dig.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're digging.
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 Can you dig it?
Yes, you can. Take a fucking shovel.
Where did we get the shovels?
Oh, you know I brought shovels.
Yeah, that's
Pretty sure my pack has a shovel.
Obviously brought shovels.
I don't know if I actually have a shovel, because I got a monster hunting kit.
Why?
Because I randomly got that.
Oh, do you have the haunted one background?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you have a monster hunting kit.
Yeah. But it was we also made a joke of it in the beginning that it was like, oh yeah, you're an adventurer, you totally need this. It's like, oh, okay.
We did in fact need the oil.
Yeah, we used to.
Some oil. I still have some oil.
I need to buy more oil. On my oil turned into 5 alchemist fire, 3 acid, and 2 holy waters.
I have some holy water too.
Yeah. Well.
Alright. It'll take a while.
I have a hammer.
But you will discover that this particular excavation will yield something of interest. It is not what you're searching for, but it does seem to be a section of the upper tower. And is partially intact.
I'll loot it.
Alright.
I'll join
This has
in.
turned from archaeology to looting.
Okay.
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
You're British?
There's less respect in looting.
You're being British?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being British about it.
I'm joining in. I'll also have my magic vision going on. In case there's anything magical.
You won't find anything magical. This area here seems to have been maybe some kind of library at one time, or part of like a small library. Unfortunately, most of the books are kind of destroyed, but there will be a few that seem to be intact.
Carrion, we found books.
Ooh!
What language are they in?
French.
It doesn't matter. I can read all of it.
I'm asking for myself. I like books too.
Probably the
Claud is
the
not allowed
common
to read.
language, honestly. I don't know.
Okay.
Some of them are, probably most of them are in the common language, but there will be 2 books that, Carrie, you'll be understand, but Claude, you will recognize, just from previous experience, they are in Phyrexian.
Neat.
Oh, Phyrexian looks so weird, too.
Mm-hmm.
These are Phyrexian.
Well, they're still books, so that's kind of my wheelhouse.
Anything else of interest to me?
Not in this section.
Alright, well, we have another section to go fucking look at.
Yeah. Alright. You'll be able to go to the other area that was mentioned and dig that one out. And that one, you will find some success. It seems to be the remains of part of a skyship. Now, it will require a little bit more excavation before you can figure out if it would probably be Predator or not, because there were a number of skyships in the area. There were some Phyrexian ones, too. And though they're material is slightly different. The designs are quite similar. So it'll probably take more excavating to kind of figure out. So it'll take like a couple of days to excavate the entire piece that's left here. It does seem to be the front part of a ship. That's obvious. So it very well could be the Predator. There does not seem to be any markings. And after finally excavating it all, it does seem to be of appropriate size for the Predator. The Predator, as you knew, was a very large skyship, but it was smaller than one of the Phyrexian invasion ships. There are sky invasion ships, though again, similarly designed, were larger and did have a number of differences that would be noticeable. You can't say 100%, but you're at like a 95%. You found part of the front of the Predator.
Mm-hmm. This is good. We need to go commandeer a Cartham transportation from the Resistance, but they owe us for effectively handing them this victory.
It is medium building sized.
A big cart.
Don't think you're gonna find
In
a card.
giant form, could I lift it at all?
No. Medium building sized.
I need a large platform that got wheels on it. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
We can dismantle some siege equipment for this.
Alright, you could... Well, this area is very swampy, so it'd probably be very hard to bring in, like, a large platform that would be able to. Even floating it, because there's, like, the swamps aren't big enough terrain, it would be kind of difficult. Not impossible, but it would be, like... You probably would have to manually have a large number of people move it, kind of thing, you know. You couldn't have it on wheels, and you certainly couldn't have it float.
Well, here's the thing. I still gotta find the back half.
Mm-hmm.
And that has all the engines and shit, so it's gonna be heavier.
Yeah.
Of the two that I gotta move, I'd rather move the front half.
This one seems to be a portion of what would have probably been like the main deck. What looks to be probably weapons berths. Weapons that are very similar to your arcane cannon are used.
It might be better just to loot what's here and try to eventually rebuild the front wherever the back is.
It does seem like a better idea.
I would also say, like, this is probably only maybe, like, you estimate, even though, like, this is pretty large, this is maybe only, like, a quarter of the entire front.
Okay.
The Predator was big. It was a couple hundred feet long.
Instead of transporting a giant structure, can we break it into parts and then transport the parts?
Yeah, that you could do. You could break it down.
We'll just do that. Break it down into parts, transport them back to the tower where nobody's allowed to touch it.
It'll take a few more days, but you can certainly transport what you found back to the tower.
That's fine. We're waiting on a dragon.
And I'll go into giant form to help.
Yeah, that will help,
things
especially, like, as things are broken apart, because I'm sure you want to break apart in the, like...
Along, like, welding seams.
Yeah. You'll see that, like, there is still, like, a magic to the entire thing. Because the ship itself was made in a combination of course, metals, but also, like, things like magically treated woods and stuff like that. Things that would have made them virtually immune to heat.
Hence why it didn't melt in the lava.
Probably because the Evangard Tower was in the middle of a volcano originally. I mean, the stronghold, that's where it was located. Then, yeah, you'll probably want to, like, you know, heat treat the wooden parts of your ship, basically with magic.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Do we want to take our break here since we're moving the thing back?
Yeah, let's take a break here. Sorry, I was thinking of a break a little bit ago, but we got distracted here with other things. So, anyway, if you need a snack, drink, or bathroom break, go ahead and take them, and we'll be back in a little bit for these. I will hit all these buttons, because I've hit them. And
Don't push it.
Too late.
Button, who's got the button?
Push the button, chat. He's blowing it all up.
There to grab the that was easy button that my mom has.
I was gonna say, I was a maniac. I blew it all up. Anyway, welcome back! So you will deassemble parts of a portion of a skyship and return it to the tower for study.
Yeah.
The damage to the Predator is extensive, of course, and you certainly have very little of the ship. A small portion of it. Granted, it does seem to be a forward section that includes, from the top deck, not quite all the way down, but since it's sort of like that forward, where the ship part actually kind of ships. It certainly has its. It's like the. You would look at images of the Predator. It is the kind of like from the bow, kind of down over at the side towards the front. So not quite toward the pointy part at the beginning, because it does have like a kind of nice pointy, almost ram at the front.
Oh, it's this thing.
Yeah.
Baller fucking ship.
Does and has deadly murder cannons.
Deadly
I can
lasers.
fix that.
Mm-hmm. It does indeed have deadly sky lasers, which it uses to just burn and murder everything in its wake. Or it did. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What are you going to do now? You would realize that most likely where it kind of tore when it impacted, it's a lot different than you'd thought, because the shape of it, probably if you draw a line near those back, kind of like they almost look like insect legs where the sails are coming off of, like the second one, and draw a line up there. That's kind of where it is. So there's the top part and back end where the engine is, and then there's that kind of like bottom bow area where it had the main weapons bay, and probably where it kept the troops. So the weapons bay / troop holds what you have mostly part of, effectively.
I found a design schematic.
I did see that on the...
Okay. Yeah, I see the part that I have.
Mm-hmm. Forgot that actually gave some really good schematics of these things and stuff,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You would have the section that would have had the main cannon. Main cannon is not where you're at, of course.
I don't need the main cannon.
Yeah.
I would replace it with my own tech anyway. I don't need a fucking bullshit Phyrexian main cannon. That I can make enough weapons of mass destruction on my own without borrowing some Phyrexian horse shit.
That's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, rough idea you said of where to find the
Semi-responsibly?
What was that?
I said at least Kaz will do it semi-responsibly.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm
You said
here.
rough idea of where the other thing might be?
You had details on one other thing you could try to pick up. Something that was purposely sunk by a druid in this one.
Yeah, I gotta find that.
It may or may not be related to the Predator. You're not sure. It could just be, something else that just was sunk. I mean, it's pretty obvious that a druid post-Phyrexian War was basically going in and cleaning up what's some of the left of it here in Urborg. They basically animated a number of trees to do so. Help do some cleanup on Phyrexian shit.
Yeah. Annoying. Honestly, so inconsiderate.
And how dare they
Yeah.
do that? How dare they
Yeah, they
want to
just
make sure the horrible amounts of deadly technology are cleaned up?
Yeah, how dare they try to fix this major environmental catastrophe?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, so rude. Well, if there's anything that's gonna contain, you know, the part that I want, it's probably the part that was so toxic that they sank it.
Okay.
Right?
Possibly. So you will go and take some time to dig up the next dig that was indicated by dark birch, which is definitely a ways away from where you were digging your first 2 digs. And you will find something there. It is not predator.
Oh.
It is what looks to be a mostly intact Phyrexian warship.
Oh.
That's really fucked up.
No, this is fine.
No.
No,
It's
scrapping
not.
it for parts. I'm gonna scrap it for parts. I'm not gonna fly it. I don't want it. I want the Predator. I have the heart gear for the Predator, not this random ass bullshit. But parts.
Some things are best left untouched.
That's true.
Oh my god. What if we just leave it untouched, then there's always the possibility of it making things worse. But if we destroy it and scrap it for parts, then the problem is solved.
Or doing that creates more problems.
What if I promise not to touch the engine for now?
Alright, fine.
I think it should just be buried back up and left for...
Left for what?
left to be forgotten.
Oh, that's not going to happen. We found it. Someone else could find it. Someone else who has worse intentions. I'm the shipwright here.
I just think the less Phyrexian technology in the world is the best.
I do agree with that sentiment.
Okay. You remember the... Yeah?
I just said I trust Kaz.
Oh, thank you. You remember, like, the people who, like, our sworn enemies keep, you know, using and rediscovering Phyrexian technology.
Yes.
And you would rather leave this intact
No,
Phyrexian
because
technology
of that
here?
is why I think you should do it.
I'm literally saying I want to destroy it.
Yes, I think you should. Take it
the
apart.
I thought
as
you
much as
were
can.
talking about trying to part it out. You're talking about just outright destroying it? That I'm
Scrapping
fine.
it for usable material. I have parts of the Predator. I'm gonna need something with which to, like, actually put it together. This is a framework. I know that you all don't trust me for some reason around technology, despite the fact that I am a technological expert.
Not that we don't trust you around technology. We don't trust what you'll do with the technology.
What do you think I'm going to do? Tell me.
I don't know. Resurrect another freaking dragon?
One time, and none of you ever had better plans.
I helped resurrect the dragon too.
The one time is pretty bad.
Okay,
We all helped.
yeah, you all fucking help. And again, nobody ever had different ideas.
Also,
You
none
could-
of us can't say that we haven't also fucked up with some weird shit. Don't think we forgot about the weird shadows, Claude.
Oh yeah, that's right. The shadow army that you summoned, and that started attacking our people as well.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
I just merged myself with an elemental creature. Like, you just became shadows.
I lost an entire arm.
He did lose a whole arm.
You stuck it in something.
Yes, so that I could drain it of all the mana it had.
And I risked being taken over by shadows to try to distract the damn thing.
Yeah, and you killed a lot of people.
Guys and enemies.
Yes.
So how about we stop bringing up the dragon thing, and we won't bring up the shadow thing?
All I'm concerned about, personally, is there are a lot of eyes on all three of you in this book, and there are many people who would rather see you dead than alive. So please be careful with this.
Obviously, I'm not just going to blow it up and drag things away. I'm going to be careful. But we need the parts. I'm not an idiot. I'm not just bumbling around with this. This is literally my area of expertise. There could not possibly be anyone else more qualified to do this safely than me.
Other than probably a Phyrexian.
Well, they're not here. Better I do this than a Phyrexian.
There's that.
Yes.
Just to get it over and done with.
Your complaints have been noted, and I assure you, very carefully disregarded.
So what's the plan then?
Excavation and scrapping for parts.
You'll continue to excavate it out to see how much you've got, of course, and to clear it out. And you'll kind of begin some like scrapping for some material. It kind of the first part of it is certainly like, you know, plating and stuff you can get a hold of. As you're busy,
Anything that seems overly dangerous, overly toxic, will be left and sealed away.
Okay, you haven't quite gotten to anything like that yet, as far as you know. You're kind of on the top of the ship more than anything. You're kind of working on removing sort of like a section of it, because, like, again, there's a very organic nature to the way they form things. So you can't just unscrew stuff. You have to, like, cut away the material to, like,
I'll invent
reprocess
plasma
it.
cutters.
But as you're kind of, like, cutting away at the top of it, everything will begin to shake, as if it's an earthquake.
Okay.
I don't like this.
I know you don't like this.
The ship will continue to shake, and the ground around you will kind of tear open,
Oh, that's not good.
and the ship will take flight.
I can fix this.
Right.
Give me a... Oh, God.
I am a shipwright. I'm a fucking sailor. I've been researching
this is-
airships for the past
This is
year.
nothing to do with that, I will tell you. Roll a... History? We'll give you a history.
History?
Yeah.
Bump that to a 20.
Okay. With a 20, you'll know at least one of the basic things. Something that, like, unfortunately, you maybe even slipped your mind, or maybe you hoped. Phyrexian ships themselves were alive.
You know, that would have been a good thing to mention when you said that I found an intact Phyrexian warship.
You never asked.
Well, that's because I didn't know to I, Fish, didn't know to ask. Kaz has been researching this, though.
Right.
I don't
okay.
think... the thing is, I don't think you've been researching Phyrexians as much.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I didn't say anything directly. You've been researching, like, sky ships and stuff. It is just something that you, like... it's something... It's not, like... It's not an alive, like you would think, like a true living thing. It's probably, like... almost like an animal that they're controlling, kind of thing. And you'd surmise that maybe it basically was, in a way, healing itself under there, and you just opened it up. Whatever damage to its actual, like, living systems that almost, in quotation, killed it for it originally to crash, regenerated on their own. Maybe with some Phyrexian oil to help out. That was down there with it. You're not sure. You're not sure what was left over in here. If there was enough oil or something, it could have... The oil is semi-conscious itself. You know that. You know, it has a kind of will of its own. It could have chose to repair this thing while it was still buried. And now it's free. And granted, it's probably not as dangerous as it was, but it's still probably fairly dangerous as billowing black smoke begins to emerge from it.
Oh, great.
Alright. Sense and analyze artifice, step number 1.
It's a Phyrexian warship. It is created by an innumerable amount of various different magics combined together. It is incredibly hard to analyze the entire thing. It is a complete warship that is built together. And Phyrexian science is magic technology. So
I would like to just analyze power systems.
Alright. Focusing in on it as the power systems. It almost functions like a nerve network throughout the entire ship.
I need to know where its heart gear is.
It doesn't have one kind of like Predator's engine would be. The engines are similar, but still quite different. The Predator's engines, you're fairly certain, had no organic components to it. This thing kinda does, even though it's like necrotic more, like undead flesh almost. Flesh that's been like preserved through necromantic magics to like always be part of it. The engine itself is probably still intact in the lower reaches. You could try to access the engine and destroy that, honestly, if you wanted to get down there. You don't know if there's any kind of defenses or anything left over in this ship. There might be none. There might be something.
Well, we need to take it down somehow.
While you're doing that, you're going to see Claude sit down on the deck, close his eyes. Vesh, do you have anything you can tell me on how to shut this down?
Well. And here I thought you would not ask for my help at all. There's an
Not
easy
my
way.
favorite thing, but...
like, as you're speaking to him, like, the world will stop for a second almost. As, like, you'll see almost like a shadow of him appear in, like, the side of it. It maybe not stop, but everything, like, the time all around you seems to slow down.
Right.
Why should I assist you? You lock me away. You deny your father his days in the sun. I but want to spread my love of you, son. You are seemingly an ingenious creation, something beyond what I could have imagined. Not quite the deadly murder machine I was originally planning for, but your development and existence is so fascinating. Gives me new insights on the mannerisms of life and existence, and how to control and better manipulate the soul. So interesting that these frail bodies are but a connection, a vessel for the soul. Perhaps they could be more easily upgraded, or something could be transferred to a new body more successfully. A more improved body. Sorry, it's the scientist in me. I know exactly what to do to end this thing.
And what will this information cost?
That's a good question. How about we say this first? What are you offering me? I want to know what you're willing. Because it seems as though your willingness is the important part of all this.
Look, I don't know what this thing could do chemically even to this body. If I'm in danger, you're in danger. So let's look at it this way. It's survival for both of us.
Oh, I know for a fact you should be relatively immune to whatever the effects are. The Cloud is a combination of about 27 different toxins, along with a viral actuator that's made to, well... Long story short, it was in the air of Phyrexia. He's pumped into it to ensure that if there's anybody that came in, they were ready to join the rest of us. We weren't foolish enough to guess there wouldn't be visitors.
I'm not just talking about the toxic fumes.
Oh, the ship
I'm
itself.
also talking... Well, how about the fact that we are on a Phyrexian ship? You don't think that might be a giant target?
Certainly. There are plenty of people that would want it gone. But most of those people are dead, aren't they? And your little...
Yeah, but I can think of a certain group of people who aren't, who would probably love to have their hands on this.
Oh. Would they now? No. No. I think they could have found this if they wanted to. Think about it. I've been watching. I've been realizing a little bit of what's been going on. Certainly, Phyrexian technology is grand. But you hit a nail on the head when you discovered the ancient dragon. There's stuff that's more compatible they might be looking for. Phyrexian technology was always compatible with Phyrexians. We made it that way. It was our plan. You had to be Phyrexian to use it efficiently. Because, well, we didn't want it falling into the wrong hands. So, whose technology, similar to our own, but would be different, and wouldn't have that in place?
I know what you're going to do.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, just say it. I just want the answer.
Thoranian.
You are clever. This wonderful machine is wonderful for Phyrexians, tossing out a little bit of our environmental air, which paves the way for our coming. Originally it was birthed with an army of monstrosities. Most likely the army is gone. Most of its weapons are probably disabled. The ship itself here, save for the toxins, is most likely relatively harmless. Well, that's if it doesn't get any smart ideas. I don't know how much its brain has evolved in 300 years left on its own. If you encase a brain of a small animal for 300 years and just let it think on its own, what might happen to it? Would it go insane? Would it addle away until it was nothing but mere instinct? Or maybe it would get smarter. We can't say for sure what's happened to this one. But that might be your best bet. Cut the brain.
Guessing I'm the one who's going to have to do this.
Oh, your little friends could do it too. Honestly. Anybody could. You see, the brain is a very important place on the ship, which I can inform you where it's at. A place which I would guess at this point in time is probably, well, the least protected. Because the security that was normally there was walking and murdering, and, well, they don't seem to be about, do they?
No.
Well, you merely just have to stab into it. A lump of flesh and metal. And once it's stabbed, like any brain, it dies. It's just that your average being couldn't easily access it. Couldn't get there. It'd be covered in all kinds of protections and guards. But one thing I can do, I can help you trick it into thinking perhaps you're a guard. And then you or one of your little friends can get close enough to... and end it.
How would we do that? Trick it.
Easy. You don't have to call on all of me. You just have to call on part of me. A little bit of me out there. I would be recognized by it as friend. Right now, well, it may recognize you as friend. It may not. I can't say for sure. Just naturally, you might have enough in me. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's only a guess. I don't know how sharp its senses are right now. It depends on how, as I said, intelligent it is. If it's mad or bestial, then certainly, you as you are now may be able to trick it. But if it took the other route and gained intelligence, well, you might not be able to. Of course, having intelligence would be the most dangerous. We don't know what it would do.
So taking on your form.
At least part of it. You can feel me. An arm, maybe a leg. I can grant you that at most. Now you know what I can do to help. I can lead you there. I can help you get in. What do I get out of all of this?
Do you want?
That's a question I've been considering for a while now, and certainly there's been always a couple of options, but something that you've been doing has piqued my interest. And something I was talking about. I will not deny in your people's view. I am merely a war criminal. The people that you joined with. But you've seen what they did with your little lich friend, yes? The one that subverted our technology, made himself into something bigger, better, and meaner? Imprisoned him. Now granted, he's in a true prison. I myself did nothing to the people of Dominaria. I did many horrible things to the people of Rath, yes. So I doubt I would be able to gain my freedom. But if anybody would be able to grant me my freedom, it would be you and your little friend and them. Granted, this freedom would not be complete. You see, I'm a scientist. I, for one, can ply my trade in many different ways. I have no moral quandaries about anything I do. And my loyalty to Phyrexia, well, died with it. And with my physical body. Meaning I am up for grabs, if you will. And certainly, an academy of people watching over me and giving me a nice room to work in sounds wonderful. I'm sure there's still secrets and things out there that they would love to ply my abilities for. And you know as good as I, even though the one named Urza's gone, there's plenty of people that still think a lot like him. And my knowledge is very good for that.
I can talk to the academy. I cannot guarantee what their response will be.
No, you can't. But perhaps, when the time comes, I can offer something. Something that will tantalize them enough. A little bit of knowledge. Something that certainly a few members of it, a few of the more, well, willing to do what it takes to protect their Dominaria. And those are the people that will be wonderful to work for. Remind me of the old days. Except they might be a little less, well, murder me for failed results.
Once this is over, I will make the proposal.
Then we work together for now. Father and son together again. I never did consider having a family, but then again, we Phyrexians don't have families the traditional way, do we? Once we are completed, we are completely new beings. I can remember the old times, but it's like watching someone else through your own eyes. Isn't that fascinating? I can share with you some of that if you wish, but I don't know if you want those interesting memories. So until now, hands up. We're going to share one for a little bit. Alright, time will resume. And your hand will look a little different.
I know how to turn what we have to do. We have to take out its brain.
Yes. Sure.
I know where it is.
How? Oh, we're going to have a conversation.
Yes, but time is of the essence at this point. You guys cannot sustain yourselves in this area. We need to do this quickly.
All right.
Using the directions of Vesh, you will be able to find your way to the heart of it, what would be considered closest to akin to a bridge of this place. And certainly, it will offer no resistance. You'll be able to saunter up to whatever this thing's core is. This thing does seem alive, whatever it is.
This is the brain.
Alright, we destroy it.
Kaz.
I am Kaz.
Carrie, both of you can make me just because... Actually, all of you can do this. Give me insight checks.
Insight.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually missing a Mads at the moment.
No, I got back just in time to hear roll for insight.
That's a 19.
Pog. 10.
Okay. Cole?
Mhm.
Do with this information as you will. But you can tell there's an actual pattern to some of the blinking it is doing as you're approaching it.
Okay. Do I get a feel for what the pattern is?
It's attempting to communicate.
It's trying to talk to us.
Okay, then let's hold on a second. I'd like to sense and analyze Artifice this specifically, this communication.
It doesn't work.
I figured not.
It is not artifice.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is
it's a lie.
construct. This
What's happening?
specific portion of it is indeed alive in some way.
I'm going to say in my head, can you tell what it's trying to say?
Like, almost like it, rather than in your head, like almost inside of your ear as it was talking right next to you. No clue. But you have a choice. Kill it now before it can cause irreparable damage. Or let it live. Granted, your little friend might be able to come up with a third or a fourth or a fifth option. But it's inevitable that
Time,
one
the
or
more
the other.
toxic the area gets.
Exactly. Or poison. Or it's death. Choices.
Yeah. Guys, this thing could be just trying to buy time to kill you off.
Well, then I say we kill it.
Could we separate it?
Roll
Arcana?
Arcana. Yeah, let's start with an
Right.
Arcana check.
Do I have an idea of what kind of spell could kill it the fastest?
Shit.
I mean, I could assist Kaz.
Yeah, I'll take an assist.
I'm going to tell you at this point in time, Cole, it's probably just vulnerable as it is. It
Okay,
has
I'm
not put up any defenses to any of you.
Okay.
I thought by assist you meant advantage and not just rolling.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have rolled. Yeah. I
Roll
just
again?
rolled second time.
Advantage?
Yeah.
With advantage, I'll assist you.
Just roll the second time then. So you've already got the F.
That's better.
Yes.
You might be able to separate it out. It'd probably take a little bit of time. It'd be like surgically cutting all the nerves from something. Like, the good news is the brain here probably can survive with what this thing is, which is almost the brain of the ship. Could probably survive not attached to the ship because of the way it's built. It is not truly a creature, but it would be like surgery removing it. Because honestly, if you're going to try to remove it, you're going to try to minimize the damage to it. It would take some
I don't
time.
know if we have time for that.
Can I just disregard this? This is for me deciding on something.
Okay.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I personally like to separate it. But I'm afraid I'm gonna get outvoted again.
The
Look,
atmosphere
priority
talking
one is
about-
get the ship out of the air. I understand that. Ideal world, we separate it. We are able to communicate, figure out what the hell is happening. This is not an ideal world if you think it is easier and we don't have enough time just to do it.
I'm worried about the poisons that you guys are going to start feeling.
Poisons can be cured.
Not to mention we're giving it time to do something.
Here's a question. What are we worried that this thing's gonna do to us? Specifically, I'm not being facetious here. I'm saying specific.
Well, as we talk, it's belching out more and more poison into the atmosphere and into what you guys are breathing.
What does the poison do?
It's
Combination of-
Phyrexian atmosphere.
You'll get a full breakdown from your Phyrexian in your head since you are currently in communication with him. It is a combination. It's basically like a lot of toxic material. Kaz, that part of it you probably don't have to worry about. You've got lungs. They would probably filter out the majority of the toxins. There is some of it that might have an effect on you skin-wise, but it would be probably a lot lesser than everybody else that would have a combination of, like, skin and lung exposure to it. The other thing is there is technically there's like a plague, an engineered plague within this smoke. The idea was the smoke itself is laying the ground. And the thing about the plague is it's not necessarily made to have any quick debilitation. It's made to open you up to other Phyrexian effects. So you would be more vulnerable to Phyrexian diseases and to oil exposure.
Hey, here's a
Also,
question.
it would-
Have any of us tried to talk to this brain thing in its mind?
No.
I'm gonna do something stupid. Hey, Mr. Brain Thing, can you talk to me telepathically?
Give me an insight check.
Not very good at those. Just never mind.
Okay. You're pretty sure from what you're getting, it can't speak, or it doesn't understand language the way that you think it does. You know, you're getting a combination of feelings and emotions back from it. It certainly has some. It seems to be confused more than anything. It doesn't understand what's going on. It's filled with confusion. It's filled with probably a little apprehension, a little bit of fear.
So is it more like animalistic in the way that its mind works?
I compare it like something like we think like there are animals we call intelligent, but they still have a very animal mind. You know, it's the difference between like a human intelligence and an animal intelligence. It still does
Gorillas
emotion.
or monkeys.
Yeah, a gorilla, an ape, or monkey, something like that. It's still very intelligent. It can like learn a lot of things and stuff like that. I compare it like that sort of level of intelligence. Maybe it's evolved to. But also, it seems to like you get the feeling it's just like it's just woken up from a long sleep almost, and it doesn't really know what's going on. But also, like, you're unsure if it recognizes what it is or what it was made to do. Honestly, there's a lot of questions that are both good and bad on this one. It's a weapon of war, certainly, and it's a monster in a lot of ways. But you're guessing it probably was never meant to have this level of intelligence. You know, it's awakened to do something new. I don't know. This is that moral gray area you're facing.
Okay.
Can I try to use the Staff of Domination to neutralize some of the effects? Effectively tapping the creature.
No.
Okay. As sort of this whole conversation is going on, Cole is going to mutter something in Primordial, and he's going to loose a 7th level lightning bolt into the brain.
Okay.
Figured.
Yeah, there we go.
It dies. Quickly and efficiently. There was nothing guarding it at this point in time. It was open up. It's gone. The ship will collapse back down to the ground with a thud, kind of breaking apart a bunch, and kind of sink back down into the muck and mud a little bit. It's dead.
Okay.
All right. I want to double check it for any fail saves.
It looks as though the lightning bolt actually did a really good job at neutralizing the failsafes. There were probably other, like, similar to a brain, there are probably other nodes. You almost overthink of, like, you know, computer terminals, but since it's like bio-cybernetic, you know, it's like...
Like how some dinosaurs had a secondary brain.
Yeah, it's got those that are like, you know, mechanical/organic in various places throughout the ship. The electricity just fried all of them at once. It hit into that and sent it a shock through its entire system. It's fried the entire nervous system of the ship. It's gone. Accessed it because you hit like directly at the center of it, it accessed it very efficiently. Probably hitting it with electricity at any one of the other places, it might have dissipated most of that before it got to the brain, kind of thing. But from the brain out, it did its job very well.
Okay. Regardless, I'm going to separate the brain.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy now. certainly. There's like you don't have to worry about being methodical anymore. It's very easy. You can just make cuts.
Yeah. Not expected, but handled.
Sorry, decision making was taking a little too much time.
As I said, the priority was getting the ship down. It was an unfortunate turn of events, but it is what happened.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that thing wasn't supposed to have that level of intelligence anyway.
I
And-
like that one.
Partially is my job to keep my nation safe from things like this.
Which one?
What do you think? All your friends are
Paul.
quite interesting.
Not that I'm upset about it. I'm just saying this is kind of harsh.
If something would threaten Arvada's sovereignty or safety, I must.
I think it was for the best.
I agree.
And Vesh thinks you're all interesting.
And I don't know who that is.
I hate them.
The owner of this hand.
That means nothing to me.
One of the
Correct,
voices
Sam, who
is
created
like,
me.
Ah,
You immediately jump to that.
I jumped to what I could think of a creature who knows Phyrexian.
Oh, I inserted a little hint in your head that I was listening.
I know you're listening.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
always listening.
It's I can't really change your mind, but I can give little subliminal messages. You know, I found that out. You know, it's been interesting testing it out. Of course, we have a very agreeable relationship, so I don't really want to lie to you at this point in time, especially since we're chatting, and we haven't chatted in, something like a year, months now? I don't know. You found out that I was around, and then you just don't talk with me. Come on, son. Chat it up with your old man. Maybe if we both get to bodies, we can play that ball-throwing game that people do with their kids. I can invent some
Just
kind
gonna
of
take his own
jet
hand
ball.
and give myself the middle finger.
I see Claude's having a crisis.
It's nice to have the confirmation that he was willing to jump straight to the
Well.
extreme rather than trust we could figure this out.
I'm worried
I
about what this stuff could have done to you guys.
do understand the extreme recklessness.
I at least always try to communicate the ideas before I execute them.
Ooh, I can win over your small friend.
No.
No. He's looking for a little bit of something, isn't he? Well, he's got everything he needs to find it.
You just see a pissed off look on my face right this second.
Come
And
on.
I'm slightly staring in your direction, but not like... My look isn't pissed off at you.
As I've said before, the eyes of the world are upon you three.
Well, Kaz, I can give you a piece of information.
At what
you...
cost?
Nothing. Just something he muttered. Apparently you have all you need to find the other part of the ship. He wants to try to win you over by telling you exactly what that is.
He has insulted me every conversation we've had.
He decided he likes you now.
Look, he's not the first monk that has found himself a being high above his brethren. It's just a rarity. I was pleasantly surprised. Most of them are idiots.
Failsafes have been deactivated. Ship won't come alive again. The brain has been separated from its central casing. We can continue to scrap it for parts more carefully without the risk of it activating.
Good.
And most likely we won't. Some of it's already taken care of being broken apart for us.
I'm going to get to working.
He should wait.
Why?
Well, I was going to tell him he could use a combination of the ship's systems and what's left of the brain in order to send out a ping that would locate the energy signature of the remaining engineers. If there are any remaining engines nearby, there are sensors on here. Magical devices that could be used to sense and gather information. Of course, also keep track of other ships. You need that when you have a fleet.
That's... As much as I hate his blathering at times, he says you could possibly use what's left of the brain and the sensors in this ship to possibly send out a ping to locate the Predator.
I don't trust him.
Neither do I, nor should we.
Inclined to agree. You don't trust this thing in your brain. I don't
I
trust
don't
most things
trust
in your
that this ping won't activate any other latent ones that might be waiting beneath the ground.
I'm just mentioning it. I'm not saying to do what exactly as he says. I'm saying there could be tools for you to use to help find the Predator within the ship. You're smart enough on your own, probably, to figure that out.
Understood. And as I said, the ship's components will be analyzed and dismantled. If I find something among the ship's components that can help me find the Predator, it will be utilized.
Such a fool, but he tries.
If you wanted me to trust him, you should have gotten off on a better foot.
I don't trust him 100% myself. He's the one who freaking created me. And now insists on calling himself my father.
Dear old dad. I love the words of that.
I'm going to go around the ship. I'll admit, partially considering this course of action, but I need to,
Take
confirm
stock.
the feasibility of it, take stock, make sure it will, do what he says and not activate other ships.
So, the ship systems are relatively fried. There are a number of weapon systems, of course, and they are made to be ultimately not only destructive, but disruptive. They're almost like
immediately disconnect, dismantle those.
They are like, think of like, akin to something like a radioactive cannon. So not only does it blow stuff up, it just leaves stuff in its wake.
I've played Fallout.
Yeah.
I think, gamma shit.
Maximally unnecessarily deadly. But they're there. Yes, you can certainly
disconnect, dismantle. That weapon shouldn't exist.
Yeah, the weapon systems can be removed. There are 2 banks of these cannons. The ship would have had 10 on each side, 20 total. The ship's like 500 feet long, honestly. It's massive. The engines themselves are still relatively intact. But, you can tell it's like, it's something strange and different. It reminds you of some of the schematics and like some of the designs that would have been akin to airship engines or something like the Predator's engines, but there's just something about it that's unnatural. Maybe it's the fact that there's this like piping of, guessing might be Phyrexian oil flowing through it. Almost like a blood through the engine.
It'll be reported to the university to be
that they would be very good for removing and dismantling and getting rid of this thing. They will be very happy to.
Again, I'm mostly just is he right? Like, is he telling the truth about?
Certainly, there are a number of magical systems in place here. There is some latent power, even with the engines disconnected, disabled, that's remaining in the system. Even with the damage to the system, certainly there is some energy left over. Though, you can see why the brain might be needed. The brain has mechanical components that are useful for processing the magical information. Basically, it seems as though it worked as a go-between that a bank of basically magical sensors that would pick up maybe about 100 different things combined together to give effectively a sensor reading. So think of 100 different divination spells cast at once creates like a sensor net, and then the brain interprets it in a way that whoever is controlling the ship would. Probably you'd guess that the ship would have maybe half a dozen intelligent Phyrexians in this area, and then it would probably have been birthed with a small army of the general,
just like drones,
mechanical soldiers or biomechanical soldiers they had, because they had a lot of them.
Okay. I'm going to take the spirit of his idea, but I'm not going to utilize it as he suggested.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to jury rig a radar, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Something small, something handheld, and something with a very clear and accessible off button.
The problem is, it would be hard to delineate which of the hundreds of spells you would need to use to pick up the predator thing on its own. Not impossible, but AKA very difficult check that probably has disadvantage, because there's a lot of them and they're just together all at once normally. It's basically there's a sensor array, I have to remove the exact perfect sensor that's the one I need.
I already unplugged the brain.
You plug the brain back in, honestly.
It's dead, though.
Mechanical components.
The mechanical
The
components.
mechanical components?
Yeah, you think
The living part of it's dead.
The living part of it's dead. You think you could use the mechanical components to get you could probably jury rig the mechanical components, honestly. Investigate
Okay,
this.
then that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll jury rig. Again, I'm not just gonna flip a switch on the ship. I'm making this contained.
You certainly could probably kind of disconnect the sensor system, and kind of manually connect it to the brain system, and then maybe put it on an independent power source that you have on your own or something, or trying to channel mana as you choose into it. That you could probably do.
I can do that easily enough.
It'll be a lot less power, but it probably will still have the same effect. All right.
That's fine.
So
I'm doing this in a smaller scale to risk to lower the risk of it blowing up in our face.
That's why I suggest that you could do something, but not to follow him.
Yeah.
Give me an investigation check, because basically you'll manage to jury rig the sensors and kind of give a sweep, kind of sending out this band of energy, kind of under your controlled circumstance. And you're trying to taper it that it kind of reads it. So now it's sort of you're trying to interpret this data, because this data is probably displayed in a way that honestly Phyrexians would understand.
I'll bump that to a 20.
Okay. So you'll kind of take a look at everything, kind of look it over, and begin to understand all the different kind of levels of data and stuff. You kind of break it down. There is a lot here. Many of the sensors, you don't know if they're active or not, but most of them seem either not to be reading anything, or you just can't really pick up what they're reading. They don't ping in a way that you can understand. Many of the sensors don't, because there's a lot of data here. Probably would give readouts of honestly, you think it might be able to, like... I think these ships might have even been able to, like, in limited capacity, detect, like, maybe even, like, things like intelligent life. Make it easier to hunt down people, which is kind of a creepy thing.
My ship's gonna be fully mechanical. I'm not gonna do any by fucking cyborg shit.
Yeah.
Only to myself.
You do think, like, the data is a little probably more raw because you only have the mechanical part of the brain. You don't have the biological part. That's very dead. You know, you're only, like, basically filtering it through one filter when it maybe had, like, 2 filters it was going through. But, after a little while, you do think you begin to understand where energy signatures are. You recognize that one seems to be, of course, pointing out your own engines, the ship. You disconnected this from the ship, so it's reading it now as a separate thing. So you're like, that's still the engines, because they still aren't complete. You've deconnected them, mostly turned them off, but they like, you can't really, like, shut it down necessarily very easily. It's more like you can put it
It's
into,
like old vacuum tube TVs, how they will continue to hold charge for, like, decades after you turn them off.
Yeah, it's like kind of like on a standby mode almost.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay. And once you realize that you're beginning to, like, register that, you will detect a similar energy pattern nearby. And you can get a rough estimate of distance and direction. There only does seem to be one more.
Okay. I don't want to just leave this here. Although we have disconnected the brain and I've taken the mechanical parts that can be used to reattach it. That's still Phyrexian oil.
There's not a lot of oil seemingly in the ship. It seems most of the oil is either seeped into the ground. Most of what seems to remain is connected into the engine, honestly, at this point in time.
Okay. I need to find the second half of this fucking ship.
Well, you think you did.
I'm gonna go... No, I can't just leave it here. Okay.
Like, this is technically, like... I will tell you, it got out of the construction site, and it flew approximately, like, 2 miles before you stopped it. It was floating along in the air, slowly but surely, in the direction it was facing, before you killed the ship and crashed. So it's like lying in the top of the swamp. It's not even in, like, a dig site now. It's crashed at the swamp.
And it's far from the tower?
I mean, this was actually a lot farther from, this was like miles away from where you were even digging, which was a mile or 2 away from the tower. Like maybe the same mile away from the towers where you were digging. There's a couple miles from there, and it was even more, and it went even farther from the tower. So you're like maybe like 7-8 miles from the tower at this point in time. It's a decent distance.
So long as it holds some distance, then I feel safe leaving it for the moment to find the second half of the Predator.
Okay. Certainly you can make your way to the area that was pointed out. And dig down. And you will find more wreckage of yet another skyship. And we'll end right there, having discovered what seems to be the rest of the Predator. At least what you can recover.
Pog.
So. Alright. Well, that was fun.
Can't just have a normal fucking day where things just go perfectly for us.
Nah.
I gave you hints about what was there. Carrie talked to a tree that's like, there were these metal men that we were like disposing of. And then there was this big thing filled with metal men that we disposed of all the metal men and then sunk it. And you're like, we'll go check that out.
Well, yeah. We gotta find out what it is.
It was a Phyrexian warship.
I didn't know it'd be fucking alive.
Yeah.
Oh, Phyrexian shit's alive.
You should have said something during your whole argument for why we shouldn't mess with it.
I mean, the idea that everything Phyrexian is alive is kind of like a weird argument because it kind of is, but yet kind of isn't a lot of times. So...
Also, it's not like we knew that it was actually still functionable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he did disable the horrible death cannons.
Yes.
Disable and dismantled.
Yes. You
And
can
We'll
now-
not be utilizing horrible death cannons, except for the ones that we already have and occasionally utilize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably cause less, horrible, something akin to radiation damage against all organic life that they're shot with. They're just cannons.
And I still have to talk to everyone and tell them about the agreement I made.
Yes.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
We're going to be very disappointed in you.
But that's worry about another day, because next
Yeah.
week, it was a little longer than I wanted to, but next week, you finished your Urborg adventures, for sure. Because,
For sure this time.
I mean, honestly, it's not that much longer. So we'll be moving into the final phase of the adventure. And things will be happening quick. So you'll get to enjoy all that. As you'll have, honestly, the engines of a skyship's engines. The engines made to basically defy gravity and allow a skyship to float.
And a lot of scrap metal.
And a lot of scrap metal. Some of it looks a little, weirdly maybe organic. And you're like,
Oh, I'm not using anything that looks weirdly organic.
That's all
I'm
the
gonna
outer material from a Phyrexian ship. And, there's probably some, inner workings that's probably usable. But, I gotta be honest. That thing is, it's weird. The entire ship is weird and monstery.
I have 12 cubic feet of flowstone.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm
probably
gonna
good.
use it.
That's
for next time.
the Predator. It looks a lot like a Phyrexian ship, but that's because they copied the appearance.
I'm not gonna... Oh, I'm not rebuilding the Predator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cannibalizing it.
Yeah. There's some good parts left still.
It'll be fine. We'll do that next time. Next time.
Anyway,
I'll drop
Mads, do you have anything to shout out? I don't know if Mads still exists. Might have died. I'm gonna assume Mads fell over dead.
Mads, unmuted.
Rip, Mads. Rip.
Hello, Mads.
We will remember. We will remember.
She muted.
Okay.
Yeah, we muted.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, Mike is gone.
Unfortunate.
Oh, Mike's broken? Okay.
Yeah, Mike is gone.
We will remember when Mads' mic worked.
Rip to the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Is it working now?
Oh, now it's
there.
working.
Hi!
I'm almost asleep, so bye.
Bye. Oh, yeah, let's get it. Fish.
Hi, everybody. I'm Fish Harlan. This way you can find me just, kind of in a general revel,
Ooh.
Just kind of reveling. I've had some victories. Maybe some feasts.
Mm-hmm. Victories
Maybe a
and feasts.
bacchanal. Who knows? I'm reveling.
A nice, good old bacchanal is always called for. Momo.
Yeah, you can catch me for Buccaneers of the Shattered Sea, for which a little bit where I will not be playing a mildly mentally unstable pirate, but instead will be playing a furry.
This is true.
And then
Same thing.
you can catch me on Discussing Tabletop, where I exist as a disembodied voice.
And we all complain about how either Wizards or, I don't know, USAopoly or Steve Jackson Games is doing something wrong again. Yeah, one of those three. It's always one of them. We can never get a good week where they all are behaved. It's gonna be, one of them's gonna do something stupid. We all know it. Of course. And Joe.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Myself, Time to Start of Dracovin. Tomorrow, I will be streaming some more Final Fantasy 12. I've been a big kick on that, so I've been doing a bunch of streams of it. Because honestly, I do like it a lot, but, it's a big RPG. I want to get through it as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So, I will play it a lot. More of that. It's been fun. Discussing Tabletop Saturday, and then next week's schedule. I'll actually put a schedule. I didn't put a schedule this week because, by Wednesday, I'm I already talked about my schedule on stream. I'm whatever. I kept forgetting to actually just finalize the schedule. But I'll put one up. I'll try to remember to put it up early for next week. I'll behave myself. And then this game and Buccaneers should be back next week. Where we didn't quite leave Urborg, but we can kind of move on to we are leaving Urborg, here is the next step in it. And it certainly will be in the shadow of Urborg.
We have to get berated by a dragon.
I mean, I've got a time I'm planning for that, and that's not coming up quite yet. I have a schedule of operations. But I will tell you, it is soon. Dragon Berasion will be soon. But there's a few things that's got to happen first. And they will. That'll be fun. So, anyway. I think that's it. So, bye for now, folks. Farewell. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.